Hi folks, Aaron Kopel, CEO of Project Brilliant here. I help leaders create agile organizations, and this is another video in our series for leaders to help them understand agile and what it means for their organization. And so today I want to introduce you to a model called the Stacey Matrix, which was created by a guy named Ralph Stacey back in the late 80s, early 90s. And what the model starts to help us understand is how to navigate complexity by articulating the four problem spaces that we usually find ourselves in. And so I'm going to walk you through the model here. This will be a multi-part video. This will be an introduction to the model, and then in subsequent videos, we'll talk about what it looks like to deliver based on the different problems that we might encounter. So to start off with, first of all, just understanding the axes here. So the vertical axis here is about uncertainty about the what. The what meaning what kind of customer problem are we dealing with? What's the business situation? What's the issue we're trying to solve for? So it's the what. So increasing uncertainty about the what as we go up the ladder here. And the horizontal axis being uncertainty about the how, in terms of how should we solve the problem, what technology should we use, what approach, things like that, so the how. And so the first problem space we want to talk about is down here at the intersect, where we have low uncertainty about both the what and the how. And so in this case, where we have low uncertainty, or the other way would be more certainty about the what and the how, these are called simple problems. So they're simple problems because we clearly understand what to do. Simple problems, so we know what the problem is, how to solve it. These are usually known things. So another way to think about this simple problem space would be these are known things, right? So we know what the problem is, know what the solution is. It's a matter of just doing it. And so this is where you can focus on efficiency, right? So if we have a known problem, known solution, we can focus on leaning out waste and those kind of things. And this is where things like Lean Six Sigma, that kind of stuff would be a really good fit, right? As we get further out though into this yellow area, so this is where we have an increasing uncertainty about the what and or the how. And so in this area, usually we have more pieces to the puzzle, more parts, it's more complicated. So this is the complicated problem space. And so the interesting part with this is it's still a situation where it's knowable. So simple are known problems, complicated are knowable. And usually what you need here is just deeper understanding, more knowledge, maybe more study. And so a good example of a complicated problem would be things like knee surgery, right? So these are knowable things. You can go to medical school, you can read books on how knees work and how to fix them and understand what your options are in different situations. And so oftentimes it becomes a situational kind of circumstance where you have to choose which option might work best in the situation from a selection of multiple options that could work, right? So in a complicated space, multiple pieces, multiple parts, think about, lots more pieces to the puzzle kind of thing. Simple problems are usually pretty straightforward. Complicated problems are knowable, but it takes some deeper learning and understanding expertise typically, right? So let's take the next one. We're going to go to the far extreme then. So completely uncertain about the what, completely uncertain about the how out here. We would call these chaos situations. And so in these situations, these are unknowable, right? So unpredictable things that you can't really understand much about them until after the fact. And usually in a chaos situation, what we're looking to do is just get ourselves out of chaos. So move ourselves out of chaos into one of the other problem spaces. So good to understand these three so far. And then the big area here in the middle, this is where we get into complex problems. So complex problems are where things are changing, things are dynamic. And so if simple is known, complicated is knowable, complex is unknown. And so the challenge here is oftentimes in a complex situation, things are changing so much, oftentimes you don't even know what the variables are at play. And so what we have to do in this kind of situation is constantly experiment, try things, and see what the results are so that we can try the next thing, knowing that what we tried yesterday may not work out the same way again tomorrow because things are changing. It's very dynamic. And so, of course, what we get into here, examples would be things like customers, right? Customers have changing preferences, changing needs, things like that. And on the how side, our options on how to satisfy their needs could be changing as well in terms of new technologies, new options, right? Things are advancing. So we have new needs from customers and new options on how to solve those problems. And oftentimes the variables that are at play to make those choices are unknown. And we have to sort of experiment our way into figuring out what will work now, knowing that it might change again in the future. So think about customers, product development, certainly things like organizational change, agile transformations. Those are all complex problems where the variables are often unknown and may not be stable, very dynamic and changing over time. So that's a quick introduction to the Stacey Matrix, and we'll get into how to navigate this in some subsequent videos. So look forward to seeing you again. Thanks a lot.